price of $73 per barrel of crude oil be approved as a result of continuous increase in the oil price in the global oil market and other peculiar situations, such as continuous invasion of Ukraine by Russia, as this will result in saving of 155 billion naira. Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. 155, right? Yes. Recommendation 3, that the exchange rate of 437.57 naira be sustained as contained in the MTF FSP document, with the continuous engagement between the Central Bank of Nigeria and Federal Ministry of Finance, Budget and National Planning, with the view of bridging the gap between the official market and parallel market. Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Page 46, recommendation 4. Projected GDP growth rate of 3.75% be approved. Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Recommendation 5, that the projected inflation rate of 17.16% be also approved. Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Recommendation 6, projected new borrowing of 8.437 trillion naira, including foreign and domestic borrowing, be approved, subject to the approval of the provision of details of the borrowing plan by the National Assembly. Or is it to the National Assembly? Yes, it should be to the National Assembly. Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Recommendation 7, other parameters proposed to be approved in the 2023-2025 MTF FSP document includes. Do I have to read all this? Yes. Recommendation 7. Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Recommendation 8. No, 7, sorry. This repeated. So it should be 8. Yes, it should be 8. Recommendation 8. The committee hereby recommends that the cost of petroleum subsidy be capped at 1.7 trillion naira. Accordingly, all relevant agencies of the government will be required to take necessary action to keep the petroleum subsidy cost to government within 1.7 trillion naira ceiling in 2023. By this action, a saving of the sum of 737,306,443,151 naira will be saved, and this should be used to reduce the fiscal deficit of 11.3 trillion naira of the government as contained in the MTF FSP. Those in favor of the amendment, Senator Said Al-Ghali.
A provision of 3.6 trillion be made for petroleum subsidy in the 2023 fiscal framework.
You are amending it as it came. That's as it came in the MTF report. That is maintaining the position of the executive arm. Senator, you want to second it? Senator Aisha Tidai Ahmed. Senator Albert Bass Akpan. No. I'm not asking you to talk. At this point, if you don't like the amendment, vote against it. At this point, we debated enough. Distinguished colleagues, if someone doesn't want, it's a major amendment we debated. If you don't want it, vote against it. So second it. Distinguished colleagues, recommendation 8 has been amended from 1.7 that was recommended by the committee to the status quo in the MTF report submitted by the executive, 3.6 trillion. So those in favor of recommendation 8 as amended, that is 3.6. not 1.7. Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Point of order.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. It's just, Mr. President, Mr. President, it's just to give you an information. The amendment that just passed is an expenditure. Are you going to increase the deficit by 1.8 trillion?
No, it's okay. No, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. No, just hold on, please. Just hold on. Excuse me, please. You say point of order. I recognize you didn't cite any point of order. Just hold on. There is nothing like information. But you have still made your point. But let me say this. I sit here to be as fair as possible. It's not my personal opinion. My understanding is the ayes, the nays had it. No, the ayes had it. The ayes had it. And if you are talking about where are you going to fund it, the executive brought that. They brought it in their, no, there's no call for division. The executive brought it like that. They brought it like that. So what we have done is not even to introduce anything new. So there's no division. Chairman, I will allow you, but this, as far as recommendation 8 is concerned, we are through with it. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. President. Very distinguished colleague. By this singular action of trying to move from 1.7 back to 3.6, what that simply means is that we return back to our original fiscal deficit of 11.3 trillion. That's the situation. Okay.
Yeah, thank you very much for that. Senator Ibrahim Dambaba. Take it out. That part has to be deleted. There is no saving anymore. Recommendation 9. Point of order. Which order? Okay, order 58.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, Order 58 read as follows. After a question has been proposed, a senator rising in his place may claim to move that the question be now put, and unless it shall appear to the chair, is an abuse of the rules of the Senate. No, it's not. It's I'm looking at the specific sub of the 58, which is to call for a division on the last decision of Mr. President, sir. Because it seems to me that the decision, that the days have been, Mr. President.
It's not distinguish. I'll just plead with you that please don't tow that path. Please. There's nothing personal here. There's nothing personal. I ruled based on my understanding, my perception. And in any case, Senator Olurogbe, in any case, you voted for me to sit here. You voted for me to sit here, right? So it means you trust me. Okay, let's make progress. Recommendation 9. That we are on page 47. That the fiscal deficit of 11.3 trillion be reduced with the savings from subsidy amounting. So this one also goes. So that does not now apply. Thank you. So recommendation 10, which is 11, no, which is 9, actually, is recommendation. Now it's going to be recommendation 9. It's going to be recommendation 9 because we have struck out 9. The committee recommends significant reduction in both waivers and tax exemptions of corporate organizations to cushion the effect of budget deficit. I think we need to be very, very elaborate with this. This is a very important way of getting some revenues. But we need to have something better than what is here. Chairman, can you help us couch it better? Because you are saying significant reduction. No, not condemn, we are looking for money.
Mr. President, why we use the word significant is because there are some companies that are due for genuine waivers, that are doing genuine business, that are encouraging manufacturing, production in the country. Such companies are adding value in terms of employment of staffs and a lot of other things going on. So companies like that, if we said government should scrap the issue of waiver for now, because that is the next word aside significant. Significant shows that after total review of the waiver process, we can to a large extent get some of these companies who have failed to meet the necessary criteria to be entitled to waivers. That's why we say significantly.
But you see, our problem here is when you say significant reduction in both waivers and tax exemptions, we are not talking about any particular set of companies, whether those are producing or just trading. So we need to put it in a better and more specific and direct way so that it will also guide you. Leader, Senator Abdullah.
Mr. President, I suggest that there should be, to couch it again, number 9, there should be a comprehensive review of the waiver process to ensure that only companies engaged in the productive sector and who are producing value are given that opportunity. And all other firms who are getting frivolous waivers should be expunged from the process. Expunged from the list of granting labor, the waiver should be stopped.
Companies. Yes. So,
Mr. President, I rise to second the amendment to paragraph 9 of this report to reflect the issues brought to this matter under review. I say second.
thank you very much. Distinguished colleagues, those in favor of recommendation 9 as amended, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Recommendation 10. The committee also recommends that all revenue generating agencies should reconcile their accounts with the Fiscal Responsibility Commission and the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation, the report of which should be submitted to the Committee of Finance for consideration approval. Those in favor of this recommendation say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Recommendation 11. That there should be a common electronic platform for reconciliations amongst the government MDS, OAGF, and Fiscal Responsibility Commission for effective monitoring and remittances. Those in favor of this recommendation say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Recommendation 12, that there should be strict compliance with the Constitution, Fiscal Responsibility Act, and other extant laws by all agencies of government with regards to revenue remittances. Those in favor say aye. Yeah, Senator Albert Bass Akpan, YPP.
Thank you, Mr. President. I don't see any difference between that recommendation and the recommendation 10. I don't see any difference between that recommendation and recommendation 10. The committee also recommends that all revenue generating agencies should reconcile their accounts. What is the difference between that recommendations and that there should be strict compliance? What's the difference? What is the difference? Fiscal Responsibility Act is the law. It's the law. There's no difference. That
Yes, I think so. Okay. So those in favor of recommendation 12 say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Recommendation 13, that the relevant oversight committees of National Assembly are at liberty to remove recycled projects in their budget proposal during the committee's budget defense. Recycled projects. Okay, recycled projects. Okay, those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Recommendation 14 on page 48. Mainstreaming of annual GOE's budgets into the federal government budget processes to ensure the same level of scrutiny, procurement, and monitoring exercise. Chairman, I think the committees should not be in a position to just consider the budgets of such GOEs and maybe a chairman of a committee just signs it. It shouldn't be like that. Is that what you mean?
Mr. President, since your assumption of office, you have introduced something maybe unknowingly or intentionally, and that is ensuring that all agencies' budgets are laid before the Senate. You've done that, but that has not been able to fit into the plan of our January to December budget process. Now, what we are saying is that we should have all these budgets, since it comes alongside with the national budget, we should have it pass the same time and transfer the same time. So the problem here is that there is a gap. There's a gap. We are not saying that the committee chairman should just sign. What we are saying is that all committees should ensure that all budgets of all the GOEs as contained in the budget must go with the federal budget. We should not create that gap. Yes. They are in a meeting. They are in a meeting. He's in a meeting.
No, he's not. I think we need to take note. If the budgets of the GOEs accompany the main budgets of the MDS, then the presentation, the defense should be done at the same time. Yes, including the defense before the appropriations committee, so that we're able to pass them at the same time. Yes. Is that not what you mean? Talk.
No, that's not that. Sir, what we are saying is this, so that we don't erode the power of other committees as regards the agency budget. The budget, you also make the pronouncement once you are leaving the budget for the relevant committee on appropriation, which is the federation budget. The budget of other committees should go to the committee chairman, and they should call their agencies, defend their budget before them. But they must present that budget almost the same time when the national budget is to be passed. So
then there's a gap here. No. How do they present it? It means they are not going to appropriations to defend it. So where do they present it?
Sir, at the committee, yes, we have been.
No, I understand. They go to committees. But when the committees finish, what happens? No, Chairman, I still think somebody should be able to coordinate the budget processing for the GOEs. Because if you just give the chairman and leave them with them, then the tendency will be that some people will rather concentrate on the budget processing for the MDS, and they will come back to do this one. But if somebody is saying, we are waiting for you to present, we want to present the same time, I don't know who will do that. Maybe the Senate leader. Maybe the Senate leader. Yes. Yes. Yeah. So Senate leader, take note. We are not even leaving it to appropriations. Yeah. Yes. Yes, information, but there's nothing like information.
Okay, thank you, sir. Your Excellency, sir. When I was in the House of Reps, hang on now, wait now. We are trying to do something that will benefit all of us. It used to be the way you directed. But I'm not saying that because we are in the appropriation committee now, what he wants should be done. I am asking subsequent, next Senate, what you are saying should apply. Because if it does not apply, there's no way to coordinate all those activities to go in line with the prescription that you put forward, because there won't be harmony.
I think the Senate leader should be able to manage that. He's in charge of the committees, so you should be able to handle that. Yes, Senator Mohammed Sani Musa, you raise your hand.
I concur with what you just said, because I felt it's something that we should do to harmonize them. It's not good that we are doing the budget at December and then GOEs are coming March, April. At the time they wish, we should be able to give them deadlines.
Thank you very much. And then the last, but not the least, recommendation 15, that 10 out of the 63 GOEs be placed on course of collections to serve as a test case for other GOEs which can be added in the future. The list of these GOEs includes NCC, CAC, NPA, NIMASA, NUPRC, FRS, Customs, NMP, DRA, JAM, NAVDAC with immediate effect, with the proposed Finance Bill 2023 coming up with amendment of the existing act of the above mentioned agencies. Those in favor of this recommendation say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Any additional, the oil theft something, where do we take it? Okay. Distinguished colleagues, thank you very much for this. Leader of the Senate, I will appeal that we take the next two reports, then we can close. Is that okay? Okay. It will hold, but we are in the chamber now, so we can't do anything.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, the eighth order of the day is the presentation and consideration of the report of the Committee on Petroleum Resources upstream on the screening of Mohammed Sabolami for appointment as the Executive Commissioner, Finance and Accounts for the Nigerian Upstream Regulatory Commission. Distinguished senators will recall that the request of Mr. President, Commander-in-Chief, order referred to the committee on Wednesday, 21st September 2022. Mr. President, you may wish to invite Senator Akman Albert Bassi chairman of the committee to move the motion for the presentation and consideration.
Distinguished Senator Albert Basi Akpan.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I rise to move that this Senate do receive the report and consider the report of the Committee on Upstream Petroleum Resources on the confirmation of nomination for appointment of the Executive Commissioner Finance and Accounts of the Nigerian Upstream Regulatory Commission. I so move, Mr. President.
I need a seconder. Distinguished Senator James Obio Manager.
Mr. President, I rise to second the motion just moved by Senator Albert Akpan. Thank you, Mr. President.
In favor, just hold on, I have to put the question first. Distinguished colleagues, those in favor of the motion that the Senate do receive and consider the report of our Committee on Upstream Petroleum Sector of the confirmation of the nomination of Mohammed Sabo Lamido for appointment as Executive Commissioner, Finance and Accounts for the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission. Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Chairman, you may lay the report.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, the Senate at its plenary sitting on Wednesday, 22nd of September, considered the request of Mr. President and Commander-in-Chief for the confirmation of nomination of Muhammad Sabo Lamido for appointment as Executive Commissioner Finance and Accounts of the Nigerian Upstream Regulatory Commission and referred same to the committee for further legislative action. Mr. President, I'll go straight to the screening. The committee interviewed the nominee and received explanation regarding his qualification, experience, suitability, competence, integrity to assume the position of the Executive Commissioner Finance and Accounts of the NUPRC. The nominee was thereafter screened. Observation, Mr. President. Observation as in 5.0. The committee, after the screening of the exercise, deliberated on nominee suitability for appointment as Executive Commissioner, NUPRC Finance and Accounts, and hereby makes the following recommendations. Observations and recommendations. That the appointment of the nominee satisfies the requirements of the Section 11 and Section 18, Sub 1 to 5 of the Petroleum Industry Act. That the nominee possesses the requisite qualification, leadership qualities, and comportment to discharge this statutory duty and functions of the Office of the Executive Commissioner, Finance and Accounts. That there are no adverse reports against the nominee, as the record checks and other forms of investigation by security agencies did not reveal any negative trace. So goes to item 5 and 6. Committee's recommendation. The Committee on Petroleum Resources Upstream, having screened and scrutinized the CVs and other accompanying documents of the nominee, recommends as follows. That this Senate do approve the confirmation of Muhammad Sabo Lamido for appointment as Executive Commissioner Finance and Accounts of the Nigerian Upstream Regulatory Commission. In conclusion, the committee recommends that the Senate approve this recommendation accordingly. This committee wishes to express our sincere appreciation and gratitude to you, Mr. President of the Senate, His Excellency Senator Ahmed Lawan, the leadership of this Senate, and the distinguished Senate for giving us the opportunity to serve at this time in our nation's history. Mr. President, I so submit.
Thank you very much. Any comments? Chief Whip. Chief Whip. Leader of the Senate, Committee of the Whole.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I move that we resolve into committee of the whole to consider the report.
Yes. Minority Leader.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I rise very seriously to second that without an option that we resolve it to the committee of the whole to expressly consider this report quickly. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Minority Leader. Distinguished colleagues, those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against say that the ayes have it. Chief Whip. Approval. Will the Senate approve the nomination of Muhammad Sabalamido for appointment as the Executive Commissioner of Finance and Accounts for the Nigerian Upstream Regulatory Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I move that the Senate reverse the plenary and report progress.
Mr. Chairman, I rise to second the motion that the Senate reverse to plenary to report progress.
Thank you, Minority Leader. Distinguished colleagues, those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The Senate, in the Committee of the Whole, considered the report of the Committee on Upstream Petroleum Sector on the screening of Mr. President's nominee for appointment as Executive Commissioner, Finance and Accounts of the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission and approved the nomination of Muhammad Sabalamido as Executive Commissioner, Finance and Accounts of the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission. Is this a true reflection of what transpired in the Committee of the Whole? Thank you. Confirmation. Will the Senate confirm the nomination of Muhammad Sabalamido for appointment as the Executive Commissioner of Finance and Accounts for the Nigerian Upstream Regulatory Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Muhammad Sabalamido is hereby confirmed as the Executive Commissioner of Finance and Accounts for the Nigerian Upstream Regulatory Commission. Congratulations, Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, the ninth order of the day is the presentation and consideration of the report of the Committee on Electoral Matters and the confirmation of the nomination of the following persons for appointment as resident electoral commissioners for the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. The names are Ibrahim Abdullahi, MNI, Adama, renewal of appointment. 2, Oba A. Ofango, Cross Rivers, renewal of appointment. Alhaji Umar Ibrahim, Taraba, renewal of appointment. Dr. Aboke Motio Olaleke, Ogun, renewal of appointment. Professor Samuel E. Ogu, Kogi, renewal of appointment. Onyeka Pauline Ugochi, Imo, new appointment. Professor Muhammad Lawal Bashar, Sokoto, new appointment. Professor Ayobami Salami Oyo, new appointment. Ambassador Zongo Abdul Abdu, MNI, Katsina, new appointment. Mrs. Queen Elizabeth Agu, Ibonyi, new appointment. Dr. Ogundu Oliver Tasu, Benue, new appointment. Yemere Gabriel Orise Levy, Delta, new appointment. Professor Hamakadu Ibrahim, Kaduna, new appointment. Dr. Nura Ali Kano, new appointment. Agu Salbia Uchana, Enugu, new appointment. Ahmed Yusha Ogariki, FCT, new appointment. Barrister Hudu, Yunusa, MI, Bauchi, new appointment. Professor Ozochukwu Ekene Funa, Chijoke. Anambra, new appointment. Mohammed B. Noura, Yodi, new appointment. Distinguished senators will recall that the request of Mr. President, Commander-in-Chief, was referred to the committee on Wednesday, 27th July, 2022. Mr. President, you may wish to invite Senator Kabiru, Chairman of the committee, to move the motion for the presentation and consideration of the report.
Distinguished Senator Kabiru Ibrahim.
Mr. President, my distinguished colleagues, Mr. President, I would like to move a motion that the Senate do receive and consider the report of the Committee on Electoral Matters on the confirmation of appointment as Resident Electoral Commissioners reg for the Independent National Electoral Commission. There are 19 in number. I so move.
I need a seconder. Distinguished Senator Frank Ibezum.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, distinguished colleagues. I rise to second the motion ably moved by the Chairman of the Committee on INEC, Senator Gaya Kabiru. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor of the motion that the Senate do receive the report of our Committee on INEC, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Chairman, you may lead the report, please. You may present the report.
Thank you, sir. I will summarize the reports. The Senate is sitting on Wednesday, 27th July 2022, considered the request of Mr. President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces for the Federal Republic of Nigeria for the confirmation of 19 nominees for appointment as Resident Electoral Commissioners reg for the Independent National Electoral Commission INEC, and its wisdom, the Senate referred this committee through a referral order dated 20 September 2022 for further legislative action. The confirmation names were read. I don't have to read all of them, but I have a report on them. The 19 names as Resident Electoral Commissioners reg of Independent National Electoral Commission INEC was made under provision of Section 1531F of the Constitution. Further, this request was made pursuant to the provisions Section 1541 of the Constitution of the Republic of Nigeria, 1999 as amended. It requires the appointment of chairman and members any of the bodies so established under Section 153F shall be made by the President, and the appointment shall be subject to confirmation by the Senate. Then I jump to a few paragraphs. The nominees appeared before the committee on 27 September 2022 and were accordingly screened as follows. Ibrahim Abdullahi, MNIA, from Adamawa State, has served as Resident Electoral Commissioner reg for INEC. Is a security administrator, worked as a security and intelligence officer with the Department of State Services, DSS, from 1984 date. Has also successfully contested 2019 election in Bauchi State, where he served as Resident Electoral Commissioner reg for 2017-2022. He is renominated by Mr. President. That's number one. I'm making brief notifications, sir. As you direct, Mr. President.
I think it's safer for me to be on their side.
I agree with you, Mr. President. So there are 19 nominees. I don't have to go to the CV, but I could mention the names. Just mention the names. Ibrahim Abdullahi, Oba Epeyanga, Cross Rivers, Umar Abdullahi from Taraba, Umar Ibrahim from Taraba, Dr. Ogbote Matthew Olalekian, Ogun State, Professor Samuel E. Igu from Kogi State. All those 5 were nominated by Mr. President. Then we have Onyeka Pauline Egochi, Imo State, new appointment. We have Professor Mohamed Lom Bashir from Sokoto State, new appointment. Ayo Salami from Professor Ayobami Salami, Oyo State, new appointment. Ambassador Zango Abdul Samad Audu, MNIA Katsina, new appointment. Mrs. Queen Elizabeth Egu from Ebonyi State, new appointment. Dr. Ogundu Oliver Tasu from Benue State, new appointment. Yomere Gabriel Oristem Lebi from Delta State, new appointment. Yeromi Gabriel Oristem Lebi, also says so, same person. Professor Hayama Karfi Ibrahim from Kaduna State. Dr. Nura Ali from Kano State. Olu Sylvia Uchenna from Enugu State. Oguchi Sylvia Uchenna from Enugu State. Professor Ahmed Yushawu Garki from FCT. Barrister Hudu Yunusa, MNIA from Bauchi State. Professor Udochiku Ikeme Funa Chijoke from Anambra State. Number 18, number Mohammed B. Nura is number 19 from Yobe State. Distinguished Your Excellency, Senate President, out of the 19 nominees, 5 were reappointed by the President. 4, there are petitions on those 4, and we dealt with the petitions, and I can read the report on the petitions, while the other 10, they had no petitions at all. The committee received petitions against Dr. Ogundu Oliver Tasson from Benue State, Professor Mohamed Lawan Bashir from Sokoto State, number 3, Mrs. Queen Elizabeth Ogu from Ebonyi State, and Dr. Igochi Pauline Onyeka from Imo State. And in compliance with the provision of Section 36 of 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended on rights of fair hearing, the 4 nominees were given the opportunity to defend themselves. I do not have to read all the petitions, but these are the outcome of the petitions. I'm moving at a faster speed. Petition against Mrs. Queen Elizabeth Ogu Ibonyi and Dr. Ogochi Pauline Onyeka. Civil society groups. Now let's go to findings, sir. Committee's finding. 5 nominees were renominated, 14 nominees were new appointments, 4 out of 19 had petitions submitted. The committee did due diligence on the petition by listening to the defense of the nominees and carrying out detailed examination of the petition to determine the validity or otherwise of allegations against the 4 nominees, and came up with the following. This is part of the recommendation. Dr. Ogudu Oliver Tasu, no concrete evidence, no sworn affidavit standing the allegation of partisanship was found on this nominee. It is also clear that the purported evidence of his membership card was an attempt at mischief, as his PDP card was dated 2020 and it was signed by the current chairman of the party, which could not be possible because the current chairman was not in office by 2020. Mohamed Lawan Bashir participated in the party APC primaries in 2015 and lost. He, however, according to the record before the committee, disassociated himself from political activities and went back to classroom and continued as a lecturer in the university for the last 4 years. Mrs. Queen Elizabeth Ugu from Ebonyi State was discovered she was a former chief of staff to the governor of Ebonyi State from June 2020 to June 2021, a position which was purely administrative. However, there was no evidence to prove her partisanship. She was given a commendation letter from Ebonyi State government for her excellent performance in the discharge of her administrative duties. Number 4, Dr. Ogochi Pauline Onyeka served in INEC and rose through the rank of 20 years and became a director IT. Firstly, the petition was without sworn affidavit and no evidence was found to validate the allegation, only cutouts relating to the allegation of being redeployed because as affiliation to political parties. Copies from the internet were submitted by the petitioner and there was no proof of her being suspended by INEC. Committee's resolution, Mr. President. Members of the committee commended the nominees' imperative curricula by TSCB and satisfactory answers to questions posed, and therefore recommend that all nominees, 19 of them, of Mr. President, be confirmed by the Senate of the Republic of Nigeria as Resident Electoral Commissioner Reg of the Independent National Electoral Commission INEC. Recommendation, Mr. President. After careful scrutinization all the relevant documents of the nominees and due consideration of their level of exposure, experience, performance, qualification, integrity, and in compliance with the constitutional provisions cited above, the Senate Committee on Federal Electoral Matters hereby recommend as follows: that the Senate do confirm the nomination for appointment of Ibrahim Abdullahi MNI Adama for renewal appointment, Obo O Epanga Cross Rivers for renewal appointment, Alhaji Umar Ibrahim Taraba for renewal appointment, Dr. Ogboke Matthew Olaleke Ogun State for renewal appointment, Professor Samuel E. Ugu Kogi for renewal appointment, Onyeka Pauline Ogochi from Imo State new appointment, Professor Mohammed Lom Bashir Sokoto for new appointment. Number 8, Professor Oyobami Salami from Oyo State. Number 9, Ambassador Zongo Abdul Samadu Audu MNI, Katsina State new appointment. Number 10, Mrs. Queen Elizabeth Ugu Igonyi new appointment. Number 11, Dr. Ogundu Oliba Tasu Binway new appointment. Number 12, Yomeri Gabriel Oris Sam Lebe Delta State new appointment. Professor Yahya Makarfi Kaduna new appointment. Number 14, Dr. Nura Ali from Kano new appointment. Number 15, Ogu Sylvia Ochena Enugu from Enugu State new appointment. Number 16, Ahmed Yushau Garki FCT new appointment. Number 17, Barisa Hudu Yunusa MNI from Bauchi new appointment. Number 18, Professor Ozochukwu Ikema Funa Chijioke Anambra State new appointment. And finally, Mohammed bin Noura from Yobe State new appointment. All of them as Resident Electoral Commissioners Reg of the Independent National Electoral Commission INEC. Mr. President, my distinguished colleagues, on behalf of the members of this committee, I wish mostly sincerely thank His Excellency Dr. Amelon GCON, President of the Senate, other principal officers, and indeed the entire distinguished members of this Senate for giving the Senate Committee on Electoral Matters the opportunity to serve in this regard. I so move, Mr. President. Thank you.
Any comments? Minority Leader.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I've had the chairman of the committee speak and read his report, but I just want to be sure for purpose of clarity that section 14(2)(a) was strictly adhered to, where a member of the Independent National Electoral Commission shall be non-partisan and a person of unquestionable character, and section 54(1)(a) of the 1999 Constitution, as also amended, also clearly prohibits the appointment of any person who is a member of a political party, because there were petitions and there were allegations on some of the nominees that they were card-carrying party members and some of them were members of political parties. So I just want for purpose of clarity that these are trashed out and well, no, well, okay, but just for purpose of clarity to be sure that these were all adhered to. If it was complied with, that's it. Yes.
The minority leader and I were invited by the chairman of the committee, and both of us were in the room when all these candidates were being questioned, whether they are members of committee, whether they are members of political party or not. He was sitting next to me, and all of them answered their question freely and perfectly. We were in the committee. So I don't see why we should, because there was no affidavit, no evidence to even say that.
Chief Whip, the minority leader only said he wanted a clarification. Now you have clarified. In fact, even before then, the chairman in his presentation said there was nothing to, yes. So yours, what? Is that clarification enough?
No, Mr. President, the fact that I was there does not mean that I'm a member of the committee, because I expect that after me being there, the committee should have done due diligence. That's all I'm trying to say. That
I think the chairman indicated. Minority leader, you are well in order. The DSP.
Thank you, Mr. President. Ovie Omo Agege, Delta Central Senatorial District. Mr. President, I want to commend Senator Gaya, the chairman of the committee, and the members of his committee for a terrific job. Mr. President, at least the assignments that come to this committee, most especially this committee, I think it's one of those assignments sometimes you wish you could walk away from, you know, but Senator Gaya has been very much up to the task, yes, you know, so I want to commend him, you know, for the brilliant job he's done. And I took my time to go through the report and the way and manner that he handled the petitions that came before the committee, and the way and manner he also disposed of them, you know. And for purpose of clarity that our leader, the minority leader, sought. Mr. President, let me just say this. The Constitution does not say that you should never have been a member of a political party. All it says is that you are not now a member of a political party. It is not a crime, neither is it disqualifying that at some point in the past you've been a member of a political party, and that clarity is required. So to the extent that all 19 of them at the time of their screening say they are not members of any political party, and there be no evidence to the contrary, you know, I think that is good enough. I support the report of the committee that they all be confirmed. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Senator Jones, or your manager.
Thank you, Mr. President, my highly respected colleagues. I want to join the Deputy Senate President in thanking Senator Gaya. At the time, Senator Gaya was the governor of a state. I was commissioner. I think he was governor at the time when Felix Ibru was governor of the newly created Delta State. He was governor of Kano State. So Senator Gaya has come a long way, no doubt about that. And no wonder he wanted to read the whole thing. That is how governors present budgets. So, so Mr. President, I was there when this screening took place. And the committee was thorough, was very thorough. And even when we were talking here between me and the minority leader, I was just wondering if we have to raise anything. Was there any instigation from outside? He also said no. So that means whatever that is the fire outside is not part of what we do here. Because once there is fire, I'm sure from experience, when the fire is burning heavily outside, then this Senate will be affected in one way or the other. And we have taken some drastic decisions in the past about the same INEC. And so on this particular occasion, I think the committee has done a thorough job in my humble view. And I want to give them a pass mark, not just a pass mark, but credit. Excellent. Having said that, Mr. President, just a word for these people that we are confirming today. Nigeria of 1998-1999 is different from the Nigeria of today. The politics of today is very different. It's very, there's tension everywhere. And therefore, these are people who will be charged with the responsibility of different states, INEC offices. And wherever they go to serve, as posted by INEC headquarters, they must try to live above board. They must try to live above board and tackle this assignment with integrity and with the fear of the Almighty God, so that they will do justice to all manner of persons, and particularly following the Electoral Act as amended and the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. They must go through that Electoral Act several times, and whatever the regulations that will come out from INEC headquarters, they must follow these rules stricto sensu, so that
the distinguished General Manager, we still have to do the approvals and the confirmation. So we better, because we have been here for a long time. Yes, distinguished colleagues, is there anything new? Okay.
Mr. President, following the observation, I have observation in recommendation 6.1, and I can read what it was recommended here. Here it said no concrete evidence nor shown affidavits substantiating the allegation of partnership was found on this nominee. It is also clear that the purported evidence of his membership card was an attempt to mischief, as the card was dated 2020 and signed by the current chairman of the political party, who was not chairman at that time. Does that one say that the man, the nominee, don't have the party card? If the party card that was alleged was said it was signed by the current chairman, who is not a chairman at that time, the nominee did not say I didn't have a party card. Left for the chairman to throw light to this one, yes?
Distinguished colleagues, please, we are going to the next this thing. Let me thank the chairman and members of the committee on INEC. Let me also appreciate those who wrote petitions. This is to show that they have interest in what we do here. But of course, petitions do not condemn anyone until the person is not able to defend himself or herself. So it's a matter of showing interest in what we do in the Senate and indeed in the National Assembly. And I will encourage Nigerians to always show interest in what we do here. Public hearings, when nominations are made, look into the backgrounds of those who are nominated, but please try not to be mischievous. We are thorough here. Just like we have done, all these petitions have been proved really, really not worthy of giving any effect to the nominations that we received here. So, and of course, I want to also thank the chairman particularly for doing this job, because screening and confirming 19 people, screening 19 nominees, it's not in a day. It's not easy. But thank you, Your Excellency, the former governor of Kano State. Leader of the Senate will go for the committee of the whole, please.
Mr. President, I move that we resolve into committee of the whole to consider the report.
Minority Leader.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I rise to second the motion that we resolve into the committee of the whole to consider these reports.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Will do approval. Will the Senate approve the nomination of Ibrahim Abdullahi MNI from Adamawa State for appointment as Resident Electoral Commissioner for the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Will the Senate approve the nomination of Obo O Efanga from Cross River State for appointment as Resident Electoral Commissioner for the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Will the Senate approve the nomination of Alhaji Umar Ibrahim from Taraba State for appointment as Resident Electoral Commissioner for the Independent National Electoral Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Will the Senate approve the nomination of Dr. Ogboke Mitiu Olaleke from Ogun State for appointment as Resident Electoral Commissioner for the Independent National Electoral Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Will the Senate approve the nomination of Professor Samuel E. Egu from Kogi State for appointment as Resident Electoral Commissioner for the Independent National Electoral Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Will the Senate approve the nomination of Onyeka Pauline Ugochi from Imo State as Resident Electoral Commissioner for the Independent National Electoral Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Will the Senate approve the nomination of Professor Mohammed Lawal Bashar from Sokoto State as Resident Electoral Commissioner for the Independent National Electoral Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Will the Senate approve the nomination of Oba Ayobami Salami from Oyo State as Resident Electoral Commissioner for the Independent National Electoral Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Will the Senate approve the nomination of Ambassador Zango Abdusamadu Abdu MNI from Katsina State as Resident Electoral Commissioner for the Independent National Electoral Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Will the Senate approve the nomination of Mrs. Queen Elizabeth Agu from Ebonyi State as Resident Electoral Commissioner for the Independent National Electoral Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Will the Senate approve the nomination of Dr. Ogundu Oliver Tasu from Benue State as the Resident Electoral Commissioner for the Independent National Electoral Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Will the Senate approve the nomination of Yomeri Gabriel Orisam Semlebi DSP Orisam Lebi from Delta State as Resident Electoral Commissioner for the Independent National Electoral Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Will the Senate approve the nomination DSP Will the Senate approve the nomination of Professor Yahaya Makarfi Ibrahim from Kaduna State as Resident Electoral Commissioner for the Independent National Electoral Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Will the Senate approve the nomination of Dr. Noura Ali from Kano State as Resident Electoral Commissioner for the Independent National Electoral Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Will the Senate approve the nomination of Agu Sylvia Uchenna from Enugu State as Resident Electoral Commissioner for the Independent National Electoral Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay, the ayes have it. Will the Senate approve the nomination of Ahmed Yusha Ogarki from FCT as Resident Electoral Commissioner for the Independent National Electoral Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay, the ayes have it. Will the Senate approve the nomination of Barrister Hudu Yunusa, MNI, from Bauchi State as Resident Electoral Commissioner for the Independent National Electoral Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay, the ayes have it. Will the Senate approve the nomination of Professor Uzo Chukwu Ikemafuna, Chijioke from Anambra State as Resident Electoral Commissioner for the Independent National Electoral Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay, the ayes have it. Will the Senate approve the nomination of Mohammed B. Noura from Yobe State as Resident Electoral Commissioner for the Independent National Electoral Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay, the ayes have it. Leader of the Senate, Plenary.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I move that the Senate reverts to plenary to report progress.
Minority Leader.
Mr. Chairman, distinguished colleagues, I rise to second the motion that we revert to plenary to report progress. I so second.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against say nay, the ayes have it. Distinguished colleagues, the Senate and the Committee of the Whole consider the report of the Committee on Electoral Matters on the screening of Mr. President's nominees for appointment as resident electoral commissioners of the Independent National Electoral Commission and approve the nominations of Ibrahim Abdullah MNI, Adamawa State, renewal of appointment, Obo O Ofenga, Cross River State, renewal of appointment, Alhaji Umar Ibrahim, Taraba State, renewal of appointment, Dr. Boke Mitiu Olaleke, Ogun State, renewal of appointment, Professor Samuel E. Egu, Kogi State, renewal of appointment, Onyeka Pauline Ugochi, Imo State, new appointment, Professor Muhammad Lawal Bashar, Sokoto State, new appointment, Professor Ayobami Salami, Oyo State, new appointment, Ambassador Zango Abdusamadu Abdu MNI, Katsina State, new appointment, Mrs. Queen Elizabeth Agu, Ebonyi State, new appointment, Dr. Agundu Oliver Tasu, Benue State, new appointment, Yomere Gabriel Prisem Mlebi, Delta State, new appointment, Professor Yaya Makarfi, that should be Yahya. Yaya Makarfi Ibrahim, Kaduna State, new appointment, Dr. Noura Ali, Kano State, new appointment, Agu Sylvia Uchenna, Enugu State, new appointment, Ahmed Yusha Ogarki, FCT, new appointment, Barrister Hudu Yunusa MNI, Bauchi State, new appointment, Professor Uzo Chukwu Ikemafuna Chijioke, Anambra State, new appointment, and Mohammed B. Noura, Yobe State, new appointment as resident electoral commissioners of the Independent National Electoral Commission. Is this a true reflection of what transpired in the Committee of the Whole? Thank you. Confirmation. Will the Senate confirm the nomination of Ibrahim Abdullah MNI from Adamawa State for appointment as resident electoral commissioner for the Independent National Electoral Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Ibrahim Abdullah MNI from Adamawa State is hereby confirmed as resident electoral commissioner for the Independent National Electoral Commission. Will the Senate confirm the nomination of Obo O Efanga from Cross River State for appointment as resident electoral commissioner for the Independent National Electoral Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Obo O Efanga from Cross River State is hereby confirmed as resident electoral commissioner for the Independent National Electoral Commission. Will the Senate confirm the nomination of Alhaji Umar Ibrahim from Taraba State for appointment as resident electoral commissioner for the Independent National Electoral Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Alhaji Umar Ibrahim from Taraba State is hereby confirmed as resident electoral commissioner for the Independent National Electoral Commission. Will the Senate confirm the nomination of Dr. Agboke Mitiu Olaleke from Ogun State for appointment as Resident Electoral Commissioner for the Independent National Electoral Commission. Those in favor will say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Dr. Ogboke Mitiu Olaleke from Ogun State is hereby confirmed as Resident Electoral Commissioner for the Independent National Electoral Commission. Will the Senate confirm the nomination of Professor Samuel E. Egu from Kogi State for appointment as Resident Electoral Commissioner for the Independent National Electoral Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Professor Samuel E. Egu from Kogi State is hereby confirmed as Resident Electoral Commissioner for the Independent National Electoral Commission. Will the Senate confirm the nomination of Onyeka Pauline Ogochi from Imo State as Resident Electoral Commissioner for the Independent National Electoral Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Onyeka Pauline Ogochi from Imo State is hereby confirmed as Resident Electoral Commissioner for the Independent National Electoral Commission. Will the Senate confirm the nomination of Muhammad Lawal Bashar from Professor Muhammad Lawal Bashar from Sokoto State as Resident Electoral Commissioner for the Independent National Electoral Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Professor Muhammad Lawal Bashar from Sokoto State is hereby confirmed as Resident Electoral Commissioner for the Independent National Electoral Commission. Will the Senate confirm the nomination of Professor Ayo Bami Salami from Oyo State as Resident Electoral Commissioner for the Independent National Electoral Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Professor Ayo Bami Salami from Oyo State is hereby confirmed as Resident Electoral Commissioner for the Independent National Electoral Commission. Will the Senate confirm the nomination of Ambassador Zango Abdusamadu Abdu Emena from Katsina State as Resident Electoral Commissioner for the Independent National Electoral Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Ambassador Zango Abdusamadu Abdu Emena from Katsina State is hereby confirmed as Resident Electoral Commissioner for the Independent National Electoral Commission. Will the Senate confirm the nomination of Mrs. Queen Elizabeth Agu from Ebonyi State as Resident Electoral Commissioner for the Independent National Electoral Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Mrs. Queen Elizabeth Agu from Ebonyi State is hereby confirmed as Resident Electoral Commissioner for the Independent National Electoral Commission. Will the Senate confirm the nomination of Dr. Agundu Oliver Tasu from Benue State as Resident Electoral Commissioner for the Independent National Electoral Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Dr. Ogundu Oliver Tasu from Benue State is hereby confirmed as Resident Electoral Commissioner for the Independent National Electoral Commission. Will the Senate confirm the nomination of Yomeri Gabriel Semlebi from Delta State as Resident Electoral Commissioner for the Independent National Electoral Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Yomeri Gabriel Lebi from Delta State is hereby confirmed as Resident Electoral Commissioner for the Independent National Electoral Commission. Will the Senate confirm the nomination of Professor Yahaya Makarfi Ibrahim from Kaduna State as Resident Electoral Commissioner for the Independent National Electoral Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Professor Yahaya Makarfi Ibrahim from Kaduna State is hereby confirmed as Resident Electoral Commissioner for the Independent National Electoral Commission. Will the Senate confirm the nomination of Dr. Noura Ali from Kano State as Resident Electoral Commissioner for the Independent National Electoral Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Dr. Noura Ali from Kano State is hereby confirmed as Resident Electoral Commissioner for the Independent National Electoral Commission. Will the Senate confirm the nomination of Agu Sylvia Uchenna from Enugu State as Resident Electoral Commissioner for the Independent National Electoral Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Agu Sylvia Uchenna from Enugu State is hereby confirmed as resident electoral commissioner for the Independent National Electoral Commission. Will the Senate confirm the nomination of Ahmed Yusha'u Garki from FCT as resident electoral commissioner for the Independent National Electoral Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Ahmed Yusha'u Garki from FCT is hereby confirmed as resident electoral commissioner for the Independent National Electoral Commission. Will the Senate confirm the nomination of Professor of Barrister Hudu Yunusa, MNI, from Bauchi State as resident electoral commissioner for the Independent National Electoral Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Barrister Hudu Yunusa, MNI, from Bauchi State is hereby confirmed as resident electoral commissioner for the Independent National Electoral Commission. Will the Senate confirm the nomination of Professor Uzochukwu Ikemefuna, TJK, from Anambra State as resident electoral commissioner for the Independent National Electoral Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Professor Uzochukwu Ikemefuna, TJK, is here from Anambra State, is hereby confirmed as resident electoral commissioner for the Independent National Electoral Commission. Will the Senate confirm the nomination of Mohammed B. Noura from Yobe State as resident electoral commissioner for the Independent National Electoral Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Mohammed B. Noura from Yobe State is hereby confirmed as resident electoral commissioner for the Independent National Electoral Commission. Congratulations to all of them, and we wish them the best of tenure, and Nigerians will be looking up to them putting their best, and the baptism of fire, I'm sure, will start pretty soon, because there are hardly any off-season major off-season elections, so they will be challenged to do their best during the 2023 general elections. But these are people who are very capable, and we believe that they are also people of integrity, and they will bring to bear all those attributes and traits that they possess. We wish them God guidance, and congratulations once again on behalf of the Senate. Leader of the Senate. Yes. Unless you want us to sleep here.
Let's leave at 9.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I move that we stand down all other items on the agenda to another legislative day. I so move.
Opposition leader.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I rise to second the motion that we stand down all other items on the other paper till another legislative day. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor of the motion that we stand down the consideration of the remaining items on the order paper till another legislative day, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Adjournment. Leader of the Senate. Oh, okay, I will do the adjournment myself. But before the adjournment, let me remind us that we will be receiving Mr. President on Friday at 10 a.m. at the temporary House of Reps chamber for the presentation of the 2023 appropriation bill. And that means we'll be here in our chamber, because the procession starts from our chamber to theirs. So we meet here, we come to the chamber at 9, and of course do the few things that we can do, and then pass our resolution to move to the House of Reps chamber. So I would urge us to, normally Friday is not a sitting day, but this is to show the commitment of both sides of government, that this January, December regular cycle of the budget means a lot. It's a big deal to us on both sides. Thank you very much for this brief remarks. The Senate is hereby adjourned till Friday. Friday is which day? Friday, the 7th. Thank you, leader. The 7th of October 2022 at 10 a.m. prompt. Oh, sorry, at 9 a.m. Thank you very much, Whip. At 9 a.m. prompt.